Looks good on the back end. Let's do it. Air Force, 2026. Coming off a down season, 4-8, but we know this team, typically after they have a 10, 11 win season, need a little bit of a reboot, get the talent back up to speed, develop these players, maybe add some seniors on the roster. Air Force is looking like a team that should be vastly improved this season. We'll discuss the roster, coaching staff, health of the program, and lay out why. But this team, like all Armed Force academies, they're typically working with a bit of a hamstring in terms of recruiting, and that's no different here. They did actually have the 6th-ranked class in the Mountain West in 2025, and this conference is a bit different than like the American. So for reference, they're adding like a North Dakota State who is recruiting at an FCS level. Air Force actually has like a more talented roster than you might expect in this conference, which is a bit surprising. And all this is to say the Mountain West is a bit easier than the American. Still, retention is a bit of a problem, not because players transfer, but in the Armed Force Academy, sometimes players just stop playing, and it is what it is. It's happened with Army, Navy, and Air Force as well. So coaching staff here, no real concerns. You've got Troy Calhoun. His record is 139-97, and that's since 2007. They've missed a bowl 2 straight years, but before that, they had 3 straight 9+ win seasons. And this happens with the Armed Forces. Those final seasons where they're winning 9 games, you were dealing with all juniors, all seniors, the roster turns over, and it's been very young the last 2 years. Your OC, Mike Tesson's been in place since 2015. Your defensive coordinator is Steve Russ. And that unit needed some work. But when you just talk about health of the program, pretty optimistic with Air Force overall. This is a team that has routinely turned out winning seasons if they can develop their talent as they get towards their junior and senior season. This year, they're returning a starting QB, Liam Sarka, and he had a pretty good year last year. When you look at these depth charts, you'll see how experienced a player is, but the main thing we're trying to evaluate is that value score. It's a forward-looking metric, 0 to 100, 100 being your all-conference type players, 50 is average. So Sarka was coming in at 76.4. That's a really good mark. And some of my concerns are one, size. He's 5'11", 190. Running a version of the triple offense is going to be tough at that size. But he also had a 62% completion percentage, 10.6 yards per attempt, 9 big-time throws, 9 turnover-worthy plays. It's a relatively big arm for him. Now, his season ended early with an arm injury, so that still concerns me given the size. But he also rushed for 13 touchdowns, 922 yards. He's more than capable of handling this offense. Backup is Josh Johnson. He's been there for quite a bit. Kemper Hodges can play in a pinch too. He's more of like a fullback. They'll use him in that capacity sometimes. But the quarterback room, it's still pretty good. We have it ranked 8th in the conference, but I'm not really super concerned the way they're using it. Now, getting to some of the skill position players, they're not using receiver like all triple option teams. In fact, Matt Long is kind of like a slot back receiver hybrid. He's only played 199 snaps, but you'll see Long moved around in different capacities. He's a bit smaller as like your slot receiver. The true wide receiver they'll likely use is Jonah Dawson, but this is, again, not a position we're likely to see a lot of, so not really worth discussing at length. Tight end is inexperienced. This is one of the few positions they are losing some players. Bruin Fleischman transferred out. He went to Montana State, a rare transfer. So Simon Kibbe is your most experienced with 37 snaps. We just don't have anyone here really with any experience. Now, Aston Henge and Dominic Henning both are 3-star recruits. So you just don't see that at a lot of positions, even with Air Force. And typically you're going to see these players used as essentially 6 offensive linemen. And in fact, there are times when Air Force does not use a tight end. Like they will use Griffin Stalford, who's like 290 pounds. They'll line him up as a tight end. So don't be surprised if that happens at times and you don't see as much of these players as you might think. With them basically using tight end as an extra offensive lineman, I'm not super concerned with the position. The actual offensive line should be pretty good. So you have 2 full-time returning starters, but Air Force was 7th in pass blocking last year, despite a lot of injuries. They do lose a few here. Coaston Cooley, Jack Burnett, Trevor Tate, those 3 are gone. So there will be a bit of uncertainty, but that left side should be pretty entrenched. And that starts with left tackle Nathan Elwood, who played 577 snaps. Most of those came at right tackle, but he did play 126 at left. So I think you're probably going to see him move over. Not 100% sure if it happens, but he was good last year. So no real concerns whether he plays right or left. There is a report allegedly that Brandon Nasworth is competing. So if, like Nasworth wins left tackle, then you might see Elwood move over to right. But I don't think that's most likely. Instead, I think you see Elwood play left and then Luke Vonderhaar play right, who flashed elite potential on 2 starts last year. The small sample is your biggest concern. He was great when he was out there for the 297 snaps. We just need to move that forward into a larger role. At guard, you have Alec Falk, who is a 2-year starter. Very, very bad pass blocker, but his run blocking was right on average. He was a starter at left guard last year, so you may see him moved around at some point just to get the best 5 on the field if he needs to flip sides or something, but I think he'll be at one of the starting interior positions. TJ Tarasillo is the other player to note at guard, specifically 273 snaps last year. Pretty good run blocking numbers. He was also mostly a left guard, which is why I kind of brought up Falk maybe changing positions. But we did see Tarasillo play right guard on occasion too. So that is where our projection comes in. And the last spot center, I think you're just completely inexperienced. You're looking at like a Rudy Varela, who is the top player according to reports, but he only played 11 snaps. Like maybe they moved someone else around. John Ashford played 187 snaps, but that was mostly at guard. So you're going to have to either move a guard or just use a very inexperienced player in Varela, but I'm not sure it matters. Even with us projecting Varela, the inexperience, with throwing that in at center, we have this is the best offensive line in the Mountain West. So there's a chance it's maybe even better if they can configure this in a way you feel happy about. And then everyone's an upperclassman. So whether they have experience or not, they have experience in the program. These are guys that have been at practice for 4 years now. I'm pretty optimistic even with some changes. Running back, they're losing a fair amount. Cade Frew graduated. Dylan Carson graduated. So fullback, I think you're looking at Owen Allen. He's played a lot through his career, over 1,000 rushing yards. He's never fumbled. Now, for a fullback, he averages 3 yards after contact. That's actually really good. So I think Owen Allen locked in there, probably your best runner, but not looking at a player who's really dynamic. He's getting you the gritty yards. What do you get at running back and slot back? I think it's probably going to be Rocco Conti, who played over 100 snaps. There's not really any experience behind him, but a couple names worth noting: Jalen Rashad Turner, Chase Farrell, and Keegan Sack are all in the mix. And a couple of them are 3-stars, especially like a Chase Farrell, a 3-star sophomore. Wouldn't be surprised to see him have some sort of breakout this season. The Air Force running back room ranks 4th in this conference. So that is immediately another position of strength. And combined with an offensive line we like, this unit should be pretty good. And overall, the offense, I think, will be successful in this conference. And before we get to the defense, this video is brought to you by our College Football Summer Guide. We've been hard at work trying to get this to you ever since the spring. And what this includes for just $50, projections for every single game. That's a score, a total, and a spread. That means win totals for every single team, all 138. There will also be player projections for those of you involved in best ball. That's down to the statistical level. Think passing yards, passing touchdowns, etc. Depth charts for all 138 teams, which includes our value grading score. You've seen that on the screen in this very video. You'll get written analysis for most teams and players, which updates constantly throughout the summer. And that is a real separator for us versus the competition. Whenever news breaks, that will be immediately updated. You also get Discord access, which allows you to chop it up on any team, player, anytime there's a story. A lot of like-minded people in there just like you. You can also ask any question. Those will be addressed either here or in the Discord itself. And if you'd like to support in a smaller way, please consider liking the video, subscribing to the channel. That helps show YouTube that this content is actually worthwhile, and it gets us in front of new viewers in the long run, which just helps us keep doing this. You can also hype the video, leave a comment. Those are great ways to support the channel. And thank you if you've done any of that. It truly does help the channel grow. Last thing, if you were somebody you know has a gambling problem, please call or text 1-800-GAMBLER. Now, back to the video. Defense. Last year, Air Force was 108th in run D, 52nd in pass rush. They run a 3-4, so there are some weird labels and positions that Air Force uses. We'll try to break it down. They lose Daniel Grobe, Jackson Adams on the edge, but Isaac Hubert is back, and he was really good, man. 36 pressures, 5 sacks, and he had 30 tackles and 11.5 tackles for loss in the run game. Stud. Behind him, Jalen Reese, he was good on 153 snaps, especially in run defense. He is on the smaller side, so they'll need him to step up into a larger role. There's nothing behind these guys, so you're kind of relying on the star power of Hubert and hopefully some development from Reese. The interior has Andrew Tillett and Lukia Rawls, who both played over 200 snaps. Now, both of them aren't really the best projections. For example, like Tillett's 290, Rawls is 280. That's pretty good size. But both of them were actually below average in run defense. One potential weak link is Jaden Okendo. He also has some potential to maybe flash because the run defense with him is good. But my concern is also a sub 300-pound guy. So what does this look like when you extend it over a larger sample? From there, it's like a Chaz Barnett. Defensive line is a marginal concern. The only thing that really helps Air Force, I think, in this regard is you do have one stud, and it's not exactly the best conference in terms of defensive lines. I think there's going to be a lot of teams allowing a lot of rushing yards in this conference as a whole. Linebacker. This unit is a bit stronger. It starts with Blake Fletcher up at the top. He led the team. He had 108 tackles last year. So really good run defense. Coverage wasn't great. 30 catches allowed. That was 83%. That's for 383 yards. He did have 2 PBUs. But Dallas Daly's back, another player with good run defense, 45 tackles. He was actually better in coverage too. Didn't start to begin the year, but did start from week 6 onward. And the depth here is not bad either. Brody Bujnak and Luke Fisher, over 150 snaps apiece for them, so having at least some experience is good. We have this ranked as the second best linebacker room in the conference. Coverage, Air Force was decimated last year in the secondary. It's actually been a 2-year problem, so finishing 131st, don't be as concerned with this. Top corner returning is Mikael Sexton, 467 snaps for him. Run defense was okay. He had 33 tackles, but the coverage was a bit up and down. 71% completion for 356 yards, 2 touchdowns. I won't lie, this needs to be improved at least a little bit, but he is a former 2-star, one of only a couple recruits playing for this unit. Corey Johnson, 464 snaps, good run defender again. He had 34 tackles. Completion percentage was a bit better, but still 363 yards allowed and 4 touchdowns. These corners were pretty big, like boom bust players, and they need to be coached up and improved. So new DC should improve that. Alexander Perez, I think, is your favorite for the nickel. Played a lot last year as a freshman, 349 snaps. He was the opposite. He was, better in coverage, but a little bit weaker in run defense. I think he'll be okay there. 26 tackles is still fine. He's 200 pounds, so kind of your prototypical nickel. You need some size these days. There's a few other players worth mentioning. Nick Beckwith had 6 starts, but he was atrocious out there. Played some slot. I don't think we're really going to see him over Perez, but worth mentioning. Max Mistel, going to be one of your safety starters, nearly 600 snaps. He was good. 3rd on the team in tackles, only 15 catches allowed. They were scoreless as well. 3 picks, 2 PBUs. Likely your best defender in the secondary. Counterpart's probably Roger Jones Jr., who played a ton. Very good run defender. He was 2nd on the team in tackles. But catch percentage got a little high for him at 81%, 375 yards. So really only Mistel kind of held up in coverage. Roger Jones Jr., I think he played well enough. But personally, there might be a chance you see 3 safeties get on the field. Kyle Chen has been getting a lot of hype. He missed last year due to injury, but he is a former 3-star recruit. Houston Hendricks also played a bit, took a big step back last year. But ultimately, the secondary, a couple of reasons I think it'll be better. 1, better coaching. 2, they're just getting older, and this is still a very young secondary. We don't have a single senior projected in our starters, and all of these guys have started games. Most of them started as freshmen. And again, this is Air Force. You're starting like 4 freshmen at various points last year. It's no surprise they finished 131st in coverage. Yeah, that's going to happen. Now, with extra coaching, a team that is predicated on it, what could this unit actually achieve? I think they might be quite a bit better. Now, kicking is really bad for this team. Jacob Medina's back. He was only 3-6 on field goals last year, so it's a complete unknown for them in special teams. Here's where they rank overall. So, offensive line, defensive line, linebacker, all pretty good. In comparison to the rest of the Mountain West, a very down conference, Air Force is quietly set up pretty well. Now, you're not sneaking this by anyone, even coming off an 8-4 season. Air Force is our 92nd ranked team. Their win total is 6.5 minus 180. That's an effective 7. So our win total at 6.98 is right in line with the market. You're not sneaking Air Force by anyone this year, unfortunately. Was kind of hoping that would be the case. But here's the schedule. So you've got Duquesne to open the season, should be an auto win. Unfortunately, this conference is just so down now that you've lost your Boise States. So many teams are just departing. Your toughest games, of course, the other Armed Force Academies, you have Navy and Army. You also get UNLV, but that game is at home. So it's one of the better places to potentially get one of the tougher teams. Now, road trips in the Mountain West have gotten harder and harder. So where are they going on the road? Nevada, that's not terrible. You have to go to Northern Illinois, which certainly isn't good, but they're one of the worst teams in the conference. Wyoming, going to Laramie is never easy. And then, of course, Army's on the road. New Mexico's on the road. To be honest, this could be worse. So, in general, not really scared about the conference play for this team. In general, I think you're looking at a pretty decent schedule overall for Air Force. And if you force me to take anything, it would be the over. But it's one we're just going to be sitting out. Far more interested in like Army or Navy overall in the group of armed forces.